All right, welcome back everybody. So in this video, we're going to set up what we need to start our video game. So here we are on the home page of Scratch. Yours will look slightly different than this one because you have a student account and this is a teacher account, but they look similar enough to help you get started. So we're going to click Create, and this brings us to a new Scratch project. We need to name our project. So whatever game you're making, go ahead and give it a name for your game. I'm going to call mine Shark Game Tutorial. And then it's important that you hit the share button. And what the share button does for you is it allows me to go in and see your project so that I can help give you feedback and can help you with any coding issues that you have. So from this point, we have our game named. We can go in and add instructions. We can give credit to any sources that we use. But for this time right now, let's just click on See Inside. And let's start building our shark game. So as we get going, we realize we have a cat here. We don't want a cat, we want a shark. So I'm going to come down to this sprite window. I'm going to find the cat sprite, and I'm going to click on the trash can, and bye-bye kitty. Now we are going to add a new sprite. And there's an icon down here with a cat and a plus sign and several different ways we can add sprites. We can choose a sprite. We can paint our own sprite. We can have one randomly selected, or we can upload an image that we save from another source. I'm going to choose a sprite because I want a shark. There's lots of sprites available, and I can simply scroll down to the S's because they're in alphabetical order, and I can pick my shark, or I could come up and search for shark, or I can narrow down my choices by category. I can click on animals and find my shark. So based on what type of sprite you're adding to your game, those are some different options. So I'm going to select my shark. And now as you see, I've added a new sprite. Its name is Shark, and it is in our game. But with this being the size of our game window, this shark is really big. So we need to go back and reduce its size. So I'm going to be sure that I have this sprite selected, and I'm going to come up to Costume. The Costume window allows you to adjust the look of your sprites. So here I have all of my different drawing features, and I have the sprite, and I can use those drawing features to make changes that I want. I will give you a quick warning. If you grab a part of many sprites, they rip apart. We want our sprite all together, so I'm going to use Control Z, or if you're on a Mac, Command Z to put it back together. I'm going to select my selection tool and click and drag so that I get every part of the shark selected, and I'm going to go to Group. When I click on Group, now my shark is one piece and I can't rip it apart. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the size of my shark. I'm going to scale it down. So I'll grab this top corner and reduce my shark while watching it in the game window. And I think that's a pretty good size. And then the final thing I need to do is think about this target right here. So in the middle of this screen, you see this target. And this target is very important because this is where Scratch thinks the sprite is. If you put your sprite way up here, it still thinks the shark is right there. Or if you move it over there, it still thinks the shark is right there. In other words, when a fish is swimming by, it would not get eaten by the shark because the program doesn't think the shark is here. We can see it thinks it's down and to the left. So maybe somewhere in this area, when a fish swam by, it would eat the shark down there, which obviously is not what we want. So I'm going to move my shark so that its mouth is right on top of the target. And now as fish come through and hit that target, it's also hitting the shark, and it'll act as if it's eating it. I want to make a new costume now. If you remember in the game, anytime that the shark hit an octopus, or not an octopus, hit a jellyfish, it turned red. So I want to make a second costume for my shark to switch when it gets hit. I have a second costume now, but it's a hammerhead shark, and I don't want that. So I'm going to delete this one using the trash can in the upper right-hand corner. And I want to duplicate this one. So I'm going to right-click on it, go to duplicate. And now I have an exact copy of my shark. I want to make it red. So I'm going to choose my paint bucket and adjust the fill so that I have a nice sort of bright red color. And then just paint it red in a few places so that when it gets hit by the jellyfish, for that instant, you can see that it switches colors. So I now have two costumes for the same sprite. This is still one sprite, but let's clean its name up. So for the first costume, it's called Shark A. I don't like the A, so let's get rid of it. I'm going to call it Shark. And then for this one, when the shark gets hit, I'm going to call it Shark Ouch. And it's important that you give your costumes names that you can remember, because in the code, you have to select the name. And if you have them all Shark A, Shark B, Shark C, it can get really confusing as to which one's which. All right, so this is going to be the end of this video. In the next video, we're going to go back and we are going to go back to coding, and we're going to start making our shark move.